Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
This is a 7-foot, 280-pound center who scores in the paint. The number one priority is spacing. Most efficient starting five still in Joel Embiid's career was Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, J.J. Redick, Dario Saric, and Robert Covington. Why? Spacing. Now, look, the supporting cast of that 2018-19 team was James Ennis. Try not to throw up when I say this. In order, off the bench, James Ennis, Boban Marjanovic, Mike Scott, Furkan Korkmaz, Greg Monroe, and T.J. McConnell. I got 5 reasons why the 2022-2023 roster will be better than the 2018-19 roster. Number 1, James Harden and Joel Embiid make so much more sense than Joel Embiid and a 6'10 power forward pretending to be a point guard. You had a guy handling the ball every single possession. In a time when we should have been trying to space the floor for Joel Embiid, you had a guy handling the ball who would not shoot the ball. How did anybody convince us that that was a good idea? There's a screenshot, I should have pulled it up here, that I shared a million times of Ben Simmons trying to pass the ball to Joel Embiid with his man already double-teaming Joel Embiid. So obviously, combining Joel Embiid with any point guard on the planet is better than that. Seriously. Yes, Ben Simmons is a better talent than Trey Burke. But Trey Burke and Joel Embiid would have been better for Joel Embiid and for the Sixers as a whole than Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Starting Shake Milton would have been better. Actually, going into the next season, Brett Brown announced that he's moving Ben to power forward, and he started Shake Milton. He was trying everything. I remember when we were down 3-0 to the Boston Celtics, and he started T.J. McConnell because it just didn't work. So obviously, James Harden, even a little bit past elite, even maybe on the downside compared to what he was doing in Houston, is a billion times a better fit with Joel Embiid. The first time I saw James Harden and Joel Embiid run a pick and roll, and Joel rolled to the basket and caught a perfect drop-off pass next to the rim, I wanted to cry tears of joy because I've been wanting to see this roster, and I've been wanting to see normal basketball for 5 years now. I've been wanting to see something that makes sense for years now. And then James' ability to shoot, James' ability to create from the perimeter, and of course, you know, he didn't play up to his own standards or the standards that everybody else has for him and should have for him. And he basically promises to come back this year healthier, in better shape, and at that elite level that he knows he can play at. That's what he said. I'm just saying what he said. Number 2. Obviously, year 3, Tyrese Maxey has the potential to be a star. And the main reason that is a main reason for this upcoming roster to be the best of Joel Embiid's career. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it's spacing. Tyrese Maxey shot 42.5% from 3 last season. If you just look at these 3 guys that are on the screen right here, once again, one of them shot 0%, one of them shot 28%. Now you have Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey. and year 3 Tyrese Maxey, and back on his game James Harden, you can argue isn't better than this photo, talent-wise, or maybe, if how depending how high you're putting Jimmy Butler here. But the fit is a billion times better. The spacing, a million times better. And Tyrese Maxey has the potential to be a star in this league. And that's a big 3 that can take you somewhere. You got Tobias Harris as your 4th option because I don't think they're going to be able to trade him because the contract is too bad. But, you can't complain of having Tobias Harris as a 4th option. And then you look at the depth, and it's not even close. The number 3 reason this roster is better, P.J. Tucker. The dog, ladies and gentlemen. The dog, P.J. Tucker. And if you're just a box score watcher, if you don't watch games, you might look at him and say, oh, my God, we gave $30 million to a guy that averaged 6 points per game. What are we thinking? I see it every day on the internet. But if you watch games, this team lacked hustle and heart and just fire. That dog mentality, that you're not getting to that loose ball unless my heart stops. I am getting it first. That's P.J. Tucker, a workhorse. And his impact in the locker room and in the practice facility around this team might be better, might be more important than him on the court. Because this team was soft last season. This team was embarrassing last season. This team had no fight, had no dog in them last season. So that's number 3, P.J. Tucker. Not to mention, he rebounds like crazy for his size, and he leads the NBA in corner three-point percentage at 46.5% last season. Number 4. DeAnthony Melton and Daniel House are better bench pieces than James Ennis and Mike Scott. Come on, bro. That's simple. DeAnthony Melton at 24 years old, coming off the bench, shooting 37% from 3, averaging 8 3-point attempts per 36, 2 steals per 36, 1 block per 36 at 6'2", and ladies and gentlemen, 7 rebounds per 36 at 6'2". That's another workhorse. That's another dog mentality. And that's a young combo guard, can dribble, pass, and shoot, can come off the bench and absolutely give you buckets at just 24 years old. DeAnthony Melton isn't even talked about enough as far as I'm concerned. And people that don't pay that close attention are going to be pleasantly surprised when DeAnthony Melton comes off of this bench and gives teams around the league bucket after bucket after bucket. And his defense is going to impress people also. So, I mean, look, bro, it's not that hard to be better than James Ennis and Mike Scott. Obviously, DeAnthony Melton and Daniel House are better bench pieces than those two. Number 5. I don't even think you can argue me on this one. Paul Reed and Charles Bassey are better backup center options than Boban Marjanovic and Greg Monroe. I don't even have to elaborate on that one. So, quite obviously and easily, this Sixers roster that Daryl Morey threw together with no cap space in one offseason after getting through the Ben Simmons debacle is the best and will be the best NBA roster the Sixers have had in the Joel Embiid era.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.